I, 26F, started this job a year ago, and the moment I joined, I felt like I was in the right place. My boss, 38F, the owner of the company, is very kind and compassionate. She built this business from scratch and loves her job. She does a lot of the grunt work herself, work that other bosses who have triple our staff wouldn't even attempt, as if it would be beneath them, but she just loves it. On top of that, we have good hours, our salaries are higher than market value, and we have 7 paid vacation weeks a year. Her reasons for doing all of that? She appreciates us, and she's getting richer anyway. I was so proud of working with a woman like her that I wouldn't shut up talking about her to my husband, 28M, especially in the beginning. My husband was as fascinated by her as I am until he met her at a company party last Christmas. She must have been beautiful when she was young, she could have been a model. I think his fascination became a crush or an obsession, or maybe worse, love. Now he follows her on social media. Her accounts are private, but he stalks her with my account. He also follows the company's Instagram and likes every picture she's in. He asks about her all the time. She's a very private person, but when her divorce from her ex-husband was finalized in the beginning of this year, we all found out because he started showing up to work. He owned half of her company now, and he started to try to make changes in our work hours and salaries. We found out that her husband had cheated on her with a younger girl, who he also tried to employ in our company. She, probably with lawyers involved, eventually convinced her husband to sell her back his share, and we're still in this process now. My husband has followed all of this, and he was so sad and so angry for her. How could anyone do this when they had a woman like her? If it were him, he would cherish her, love her, and so on. Who leaves a woman for a girl? I got very angry and told him that all men prefer younger women if they could choose. He laughed at me and told me only losers do that. The last straw happened last Friday. We were out for a movie night, and we saw my boss with a young man. He looked to be in his mid-20s, and my husband lost it. I didn't know that she dated younger men. He wanted us to go say hello, but I refused and yelled at him to control himself because he looked pathetic. When we got home, he was frantically going through her social media until he found the guy, and then he sighed with relief. The guy was her nephew, and we didn't see the whole company, but they were out with other family members. My husband was so happy, like a weight lifted off his chest. I lost it on him. I started crying and yelling, telling him he was in love with her, and he was shocked when I pushed and kicked him out of our bedroom. I locked the door while he stood outside trying to calm me down, telling me he loved me and that I'm his girl and always will be. Then he said something that ruined me even further. It's not like someone like her would look my way. I haven't slept since then. Why is he feeling like this? She's too old for my husband, so what is it? And why would he think he couldn't have her? He's very handsome and still young. She should feel lucky that a young, handsome man likes her. And does he mean I'm less than her to accept him? Or is it purely her money and status? He refuses to admit anything. And what can I do now? I love this job, I love the benefits. Thanks to this job, our life has improved, and we can afford more than just the necessities. I'm starting to hate my boss, though, and I hate myself for idolizing her in front of my husband. Update 1. Hi, I'm in so much pain, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to do something stupid while hurting. I went against my family and friends and asked my husband for a separation. I felt like my heart couldn't take it anymore, and my intuition told me that my husband wasn't all mine. This was shortly after the event at the movies. My husband was in total confusion. He said that I was making a mistake, making a mountain out of a molehill, but he ended up moving in with his brother. We decided to start couples counseling too. It went well the first 3 weeks or so, but my husband became more and more reluctant to participate, and sometimes he just canceled on me at the last second. He stopped showing up this month, and he also stopped calling and texting me. I was even more heartbroken, but it just solidified that my intuition was right and that I was doing the right thing, seeing that he is not interested in working on us anymore. I chose not to quit my job. I still loved it with all the heartbreak, and I really needed the benefits, like I'm the only one I know who is having a 3-week paid vacation around Christmas and New Year. I never see my boss anyway, and she doesn't even know of my existence. My husband eventually stopped being active on Instagram, and I thought it was normal because we were going through adversities. Until yesterday, when his brother shared my husband's stories of the night. My husband was in a restaurant holding a woman's hand, and I could only see her hand. Turns out my husband blocked me from seeing his updates. I commented, "What is this?" And this morning, my husband called me, for the first time in a month, totally scared and started begging, "Please don't ruin this for me, please don't ruin this for me." I asked him, "What do you mean?" He said, "Don't tell her about us." I never made the connection at first because it never even crossed my mind that the woman in the picture could be my boss. I started crying and screaming at him, "How could you do this to me? How could you tell me that it was all in my head when it's obviously all over your Instagram?" He said it just happened, and in his words, I dumped him and he was single, and he just happened to find her on Bumble. He begged me not to ruin this for him. She knows he's in the process of divorce, but she doesn't know that he already knew who she was, or that she was the boss of his soon-to-be ex. They have been seeing each other for 6 weeks, about 2 weeks after I asked him to move, and it is getting serious. He begged for a good 5 minutes, telling me how he hasn't been this happy in all his life, and that I shouldn't ruin his happiness since, again, I was the one who ended our marriage. I have been crying since this morning. I don't know what to do. I want to ruin him and his happiness, but I don't know if I have any right to do that, and I'm so worried about losing my job. Update 2. I talked to my boss yesterday after lunch. I told her everything, basically how I was so happy I found this job, how I looked up to her and was proud to be working for someone like her, and that this rubbed off on my husband who grew more obsessed with her each day. I apologized for using obsessed because I didn't know how things were between them, but that it was how I perceived his feelings. I told her about the day at the movies and how it basically made me realize that our issues were greater than I thought. I told her that I know and accept that my marriage is over and that my husband didn't love me anymore. The reason I'm telling her now isn't to judge or blame her, but to let her know the whole story because it's just fair that she knows that he has been following her life for over a year now. Because from what I understood from my husband, you are under the impression that you just matched with him on a dating app, I said. She was silent the whole time I was talking, just listening to me until I mentioned the dating app, and that's when she interrupted me. That's not how we met. He has been a patron at my gym for the past 6 months, maybe a year, she said. I know her gym, it's the one across our workplace. She works out there every morning before coming to work. I didn't know he had joined it because I knew him to be a member at the gym near our home. He has been, without telling me, working out just across the street from me every morning without letting me know. She looked like how I felt, absolutely shocked. I apologized and told her that he has kept dating her a secret from me and that he begged me not to talk to her, telling me that he hasn't been this happy, and so on. She didn't say much, just thanked me for telling her. Today, she asked if she could talk to me. She apologized for everything that happened to me and asked if I needed any help. I said no. She thanked me again. When I got home, my husband was there. He had called me at least 50 times, but my phone was on silent. He was crying, calling me bitter, vindictive, and pathetic. He said I ruined his relationship and future. She is scared of him now, and it is all my fault. He wants me to tell her that he is not dangerous, nor is he a creep. He wants me to tell her that I was the one who wanted a divorce and that people fall out and in love, and it is nobody's fault, and neither is it creepy. He asked me if I ever felt unsafe with him to make rumors about him being a stalker and a creep. I asked him to leave and that I'm starting the divorce, and from now on, he could only contact me once I got a lawyer through them. I have been crying since he left. We haven't seen each other for weeks, and he had no feelings whatsoever for me. He looked demented and full of sorrow like a broken little boy. How could he change this fast? Before we separated, he held me and begged me to believe him and his love for me. Was my whole entire relationship a lie? Update 3. I filed for divorce and obtained a restraining order against him. The last time I talked to him was when he came home crying and yelling at me, trying to make me talk to my boss to tell her that he wasn't the creep I made him out to be when I spoke with her. I never saw him again after I refused to help him win her back. A month later, his lawyer sent me a letter, informing me that my ex-husband had moved to another city and terminated the lease on the apartment. I had until the end of February to vacate. I moved back temporarily with my family. I never saw or heard from my ex again. It was as if I never existed in his life. He signed the divorce papers the moment he got them and didn't ask for a trial period. I meant nothing to him. At work, everything was back to normal. I rarely saw my boss, but the few times I did, she just nodded in acknowledgement with a smile. She didn't know who I was before. She wasn't coming to work as often as she usually did, and she was homesick more often than she was. She usually is a working bee. I was glad she didn't try to take out her revenge on me for what happened. She just ignored the subject and never spoke to me again. I found out that my ex-husband found a new job and apartment in his new city and that he was seeing a therapist. I heard that he was trying to rebuild his life because all of our friends and families knew what kind of a creepy stalker he was now, and the reason why we got a divorce, and he couldn't handle the pressure. I heard that he cut contact with many of our mutual friends, those who defended and sided with me. I also found my own place. I put a down payment on a small apartment near my work and my family, and I was finally starting to come out of my shell. Yesterday, the divorce was finalized, and I finally felt some sort of hope, some freedom. This chapter is done. I don't know when and where I will find love. I guess I need to start with learning how to trust again before loving and giving myself to someone. I was optimistic, that is until my friend sent me a screenshot of my ex-husband's Instagram. He had blocked me months ago, but yesterday, the day our divorce was finalized, he made a post with his hand hugging a woman's belly. The caption was, "I can't wait to meet you. I will love you like I love your mother, and I will do so until the end of my time." The woman in the picture is my boss. Today I asked around the office, and the rumors are that she is in a long-distance relationship with her boyfriend. She also announced her pregnancy on her socials, and everyone was congratulating her. Will this pain ever go away? What have I ever done to deserve this cruelty?